morning, everybody. So we're rolling into day 4 or 5, I can't remember, of soybean harvest. We're almost done, actually, ready to get into some corn. We came out here this morning, Dad and I did, started the combine, and then he took me to the farm so I grabbed the grain cart. And I came back, and I was like, what in the world? We started the combine, and then went away. I called Dad, I was like, did you lock the combine behind us? He's like, no. I was like, okay, that's really strange. I can't open the door. So if you've ever seen a piece of equipment handle, you like press in with your thumb, you press in a little button, pull. And he's like, oh yeah, I was harvesting last night and I was in and out of the cab a lot and I noticed a little piece had fallen off. But we got it and fine this morning. So now we're trying to break into our combine. We're locked out. So usually there's like a little cover and like that's where you put the key in to lock it. That's what you press on to open the door. I don't know what's wrong. The door is partially open, but it's locked. But neither of us locked it because you have to have a key to lock it. So I don't know what we're gonna do here. There's a little silver piece that the key goes in and locks it. And that's what your thumb presses on to open the door. When I first noticed that I couldn't get in, do you see the door is slightly open? It's like half shut, half open. And I almost shut it all the way. But I thought, I don't know. My thinking was, since there's still a little bit of room, maybe I could get a wire down in. So we just need to open up. I need to open that, is what I need, that latch. My iPad's in there, my lunch, my water bottle, my radio. I am not quite sure how we're going to resolve this situation.
All right. Why don't you go down there
and push it up?
Yes.
Are you ready for me?
Hold on a second.
Like there? Oh my goodness.
Do you want to reenact?
I don't know how. It worked. What in the world? Good teamwork, Dad.
I've been some places. I know some people. I've done some things.
Well, we can harvest now. All right, well, now that we're actually in the combine and can do something, let's get this thing fired up. We're doing very weird little patches. This was a seed corn field. And all this little soybean area was just isolation. And so it's just gonna be weird little patches. See this? Little corner here, a little patch over there. Grain tank is 3/4 of the way full. Luckily I brought the grain cart over so we can fill that up. So I'm just going to idle up just a tad bit and then press this button on our hydrostat handle and start unloading. And then this window back here is what I'm going to be looking out of. Hi. And I can see the grain level start slowly going down as it empties out of the clean grain tank and through the auger and into the grain cart. Now I'm going to get things fired up. Here's our first patch we have to tackle. Let's get the head on. Things fired up. And let's scoop up these soybeans here. Our combine doesn't have auto steer on it, so I do all the steering manually. All right, there's one little patch. Pick the head up again. And I think I'm gonna take in some of those wet soybeans down there and mix them with some of these dry soybeans here. That way the moisture kind of evens itself out. These soybeans are just a little bit wetter, and so instead of taking a full swath, I'm just taking them a little bit at a time, just because the moisture makes it a lot tougher for the combine to get the bean out of the pod and process all the stalks. So I'm just taking it a little bit at a time. This is a little bit embarrassing. Don't mind the weeds, but just getting a little bit right up against the road here.
Are you still Blue School?
Blue School is what we call this field because there used to be a little blue schoolhouse here, like a long, long time ago. Yes, I am. Dad took a truck into town, and he's probably gonna be waiting in line there, or at least there, for 2 hours or so. Now that we're in the midst of harvest and everyone is harvesting, you have to wait in line quite a while to dump wherever you go.
Roseanne is on their way to you a new door lock.
Oh, perfect. We have a new door lock coming out. Copy. Thank you. That's good because right now, so we figured out I closed the door from the inside when we got back in, and I had Dad try to get in from the outside, and he could not get in. So the latch, the lock, something on the outside is broken, so it sounds like we have a new one on the way. It's awesome. Something kind of interesting to ask farmers or to learn about your neighbors or farmers in your area is, or actually just farmers from anywhere. I enjoy asking this question. Is, do you have any interesting field names? Because a farmer calls their field something to distinguish it. You don't just say we're going to the field. You say we're going to blank. Like they have different names. And so we named our fields, or some of the fields have had their names for years, long, long before my time. And they could be because of where they are in relation to the main farmstead. They could be names of previous owners generations ago, or they could be, for example, like this field. So it's called Blue School because a long, long time ago there was a little blue schoolhouse, and everyone knows this field. Everyone in our area, farmers, neighbors. If I said, yeah, Blue School, they're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Or maybe the field is called Anderson's, and it's not because the Andersons farm it, it's because 3 generations ago an Anderson farmed it, and everyone who has purchased it or farmed it as the years goes on, everyone just keeps calling it Anderson's. And even people like parts or equipment dealers or salesmen, they will know names of fields in the area. And I just think that's kind of interesting. So there's usually some kind of history or fun fact around the field name. I have also heard of farmers who name fields that they've purchased after their wives. So Grant, if you wanted to name a farm after me, I'm ready and waiting. Laura's farm has a nice ring to it. If you notice in the video this, so that's not dust and dirt. I mean, some of it partially is mixed in, but that is what you'd call bean dust. So as the bean dries down, so you've got like the stem, and you've got you've got the main stalk, and then all the stems that come off with the leaves, and then all the pods are hanging off the stalk. As that dries down, the stems with the leaves fall off, and they're just on the ground. But then the pods and the stalk, they've got this like fuzzy coating almost, like the pod is kind of fuzzy. And as it dries down, and then you harvest it and it gets processed, all those little fuzzies are in the air, and they coat you and your equipment, and it irritates me so bad. My eyes get kind of swollen, and if you notice, my voice is a little scratchy because I have like a little cough and I sneeze because this bean dust, I mean, you could say I'm allergic to it, but everyone's allergic to it. It just like coats everything. So I prefer corn harvest for many reasons, but one of those reasons is that you're not left with that weird fuzzy over everything from corn harvest. But the corn isn't quite dry enough. It's still too wet to harvest for grain. You could chop it for silage right now, and we did chop some for silage a while ago, but it's this weird in between. So we're not harvesting corn yet, but soon. Good news, everybody. We are getting a replacement latch, so this won't happen again. So you were saying you think it just locked itself, or what?
Well, after it broke, it just basically locked itself.
All right, here's the test. Oh yeah. These soybeans I'm harvesting here were drilled in instead of planted. So they have 7.5 inches of spacing in between the rows instead of the usual 30 inches. So this is kind of fun. You can harvest them I guess soybeans, you can really harvest them in any direction you like anyways. But this is fun because there's no rules. You can just drive in circles if you wanted to out here, just because they're so close together. Perfect timing. Here's my last little triangle out here. And Dad just came back with a truck. And there we go. That is the last of soybeans for a long while because the next soybeans that will be ready to harvest were replanted late June. And so they are still green. So we're going to get all of our corn harvest done before we do any more soybeans. So that's all she wrote for soybeans until the next field. Okay, this is kind of silly, maybe even a little embarrassing. I forgot about this little patch of beans we have here. It just so happens to be next to another seed field, another spot of isolation. And if you know, once we destroy the males on seed corn, we spread turnips and radishes. So we have those planted. Get this stupid radio in my pocket. There we go. Anyways, so I'm checking on those turnips and radishes and then checking on the cows because we fenced all this in and we have the cows grazing on the harvested stalks and turnips and radishes. Here's our cows and calves. And don't touch this fence. It's hot. But all these fluffy green things, not weeds. Mixture of turnips and radishes. They look to be doing pretty well. Everyone say hi to the cows. These pretty mamas. The calves you see over there, they were born in February roughly. And the cows you see are pregnant and will have another baby come February. Dad's in the combine way down there. And we are going to check behind him. So this is all the spreadings that comes out the back of the combine. So what I'm going to do is just pick a spot and clear about a square foot. It's maybe a little bit more. And then I'm just sifting through and looking for any beans on the ground. So there's a few there. There's one. We don't want any beans to be coming out the back of the combine. I think it's 3 or 4 beans per square foot equals a bushel an acre. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4. So I'm fine. There's 1, 2. So we're losing like half a bushel an acre, either from the head or that's coming out the back of the combine. The combine isn't catching them. So honestly, that's not too bad. These aren't our best looking beans because they're end rows on the very outside of a seed field. The pods are kind of small. Those are pretty wimpy. That's a good one. That has 4 beans in it. That's nice. Hear them rattling. Let's see if they're dry. Let's break one open. See all those little fuzzies I was talking about? Okay, this is nice and dry, cracked right open. All right, let's give it the, I was gonna say taste test, but it's like more of a consistency test. So you put it in your mouth, and you put it on this side, well, or either side. You put it on the side of your mouth, the back. And if you're a really good farmer, or experienced farmer, you're supposed to be able to tell the moisture just by what it feels like. It's kind of, I want to say like maybe, if I'm going to guess, maybe 14 or 15. It's not super dry, but it's not very wet either. That's my official guess. The taste actually isn't bad. It's just the consistency. But soybeans are used in so many things, like biodiesel and crayons and makeup and all sorts of things. Soybeans are pretty cool. Dad is going to take a truck in, and so I'm gonna hop in the combine, take over until he gets back. This is what it looks like climbing up the ladder. I usually have something in this hand, whether it's my phone or a water bottle or a bag or a radio. And so I climb up and just use one hand and try to keep my body weight forward because I've got this really heavy cooler that I call a lunchbox attached to me, weighing me back. So glad this door latch is fixed. When I found that broken this morning, I was so worried. I was like, wow, that's really gonna screw up my day if I have to keep the door open all the time. So that's, oh my goodness. I just slammed the door so hard the iPad fell down. Usually these holders, we've had really great success with these. I get a lot of questions about what we use to keep iPads up in the cab, and then also what I use to mount my phone. There should be one of those around here, like on the windows and stuff, and we use these ram mounts. They're really nice. Must have slammed the door just a little too hard. Let's get this set back up here. The biggest iPad they make. Okay, there we go. Just barely fits in the holder. Much better. Back again. Oh, bunny rabbit just ran out of the field. Like that. Oh boy. Okay. That was so bad. Did you hear that? Okay, I think we just plugged something. I don't know. Where is it, the head raising up? Oh boy. Okay. 5:10. Have you left yet?
Go ahead.
Something's making a weird noise here.
Alright, do you think it's on your hand or behind you?
It's behind me. I'm gonna get out and just take a look. I just started, so we'll see.
Okay, you might want to open up the side baffle and look inside the rotor cage. Could you feel it or only just hear it?
Both. And then as soon as I shut things off quick, 'cause it sounded pretty bad, and I got a notification about tailings. So I haven't gotten out of the combine yet, but we'll see. Okay, well, let's go take a look. I'll be real honest with you guys. I don't know a ton about the inner workings of a combine. People are asking me like, oh man, you know, like, how does the whole inside work? I am no expert. I really don't. I mean, I know a lot of things shake back and forth. There's sieves, there's fans. But like, this is not my area of expertise. Essentially, we're just going through a weeded and kind of wet area. The combine just couldn't quite process it. So all this really wet, gummy stuff just got plugged up. It wasn't too bad though. I saved it before anything bad happened. And it gave us a chance to clean things out and get things a little look over. Would it make you guys feel any better if the exact same thing just happened to Dad not 5 minutes later? It makes me feel a little bit better at least. The problem is that some of the stuff is green like this, but then the other stuff is dry and ready to come out. And so you're stuck with the dilemma. Do I wait for everything to be ready and then the other stuff is too dry and you're losing everything? I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a lose-lose situation. That bean dust, it gets to me. I don't think I talked enough about today. Like what a gorgeous day it is. It is beautiful outside. Perfectly still. Got the cows over there. Selfishly, I'm admiring my beautiful pickup. It needs a wash bad. Maybe I'll run it through the wash quick on my way home. But couldn't ask for a better day. Good day of harvest. Hopefully we'll be getting into some corn soon because that's way more exciting. So appreciate you guys watching. These YouTube videos usually come out like 5 days after the things actually happen on the farm. So if you want to stay up to date with like day-to-day happenings on the farm, follow me on other social media. So like Instagram or Twitter, I'm Laura Farms over there. I've got Facebook. And then you can see things that are happening in real time and then watch the long form YouTube videos as they come out later. But I really appreciate you guys all watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to follow along for the rest of Harvest 2022, and we'll see you next time. Bye.